What if I told you that something is happening in your body right now, something quiet and almost invisible, but that may be stealing your strength, your energy, and even your independence without you realizing it? Stop for a second and think with me. How many times have you felt like your body doesn't respond the way it used to? How many times has getting up from a chair felt a little harder, climbing a step required more effort, or even maintaining your balance no longer feels as automatic as it did years ago? Most people ignore these signs. They believe this is just a normal part of aging and that there's nothing they can do about it. And that's exactly where the biggest mistake lies, one that almost no one tells you about. Because what's happening isn't just aging. It's a silent process that can be slowed down, controlled, and in many cases even reversed. But for that to happen, you need to understand what's really going on inside your body. And more importantly, you need to act before it's too late. Now tell me honestly, do you want to keep losing strength little by little, or do you want to regain control of your body while there's still time? Because the truth is hard, but it needs to be said. After the age of 60, the body can lose up to 3% of its muscle mass per year. And this isn't just about appearance, this is about survival. It affects your mobility, your balance, your safety, and your freedom. And what's most concerning is that most people only realize it when they've already lost too much. When simple tasks start to become difficult. When getting up from a chair requires effort. When walking no longer feels safe. And especially when the fear of falling begins to appear. But here's the point that changes everything: this is not inevitable. It's not fate. It's not something you have to accept. There is a huge difference between aging and aging with quality, and that difference lies in the choices you make every single day. Now think with me. What would happen if you started today, not tomorrow or next week, but today, to give your body the right stimuli? What would happen if you began strengthening your muscles, improving your balance, and rebuilding your confidence? You wouldn't just prevent falls. You would start to regain something many people believe they've lost forever: the sense of control over your own body. And that's exactly what we're going to build here, step by step, without rushing, but with strategy. Because it's not about doing more. It's about doing what's right. And it all starts with something simple, something most people underestimate, but that can completely transform how your body responds: your posture. Yes, your posture. It may seem like something small, but it isn't. The way you position your body directly influences your strength, your balance, and even your breathing. Now imagine someone with slouched shoulders and their head pushed forward. That body is already at a disadvantage. The muscles work inefficiently, balance is compromised, and the risk of falling increases. But when you correct this, when you activate the right muscles, everything changes. And that's why the first movement you need to master is scapular retraction. It sounds technical, but it's simple. You just pull your shoulders back, as if trying to bring your shoulder blades together, and hold that position for a few seconds. This activates key muscles that support your posture, and over time, it translates into more stability, more strength, and less pain. Now tell me, how many times have you paid attention to your posture throughout the day? Most people never think about it. And that's exactly why the body starts to fail. But the good news is that you can change this right now, with awareness and intention. And when you start doing that, something interesting happens. You begin to feel your body differently, stronger, more aligned, and more secure. And this is just the beginning. Because the next step is even more important: strengthening your legs. If there is one thing that defines your independence, it is the strength of your legs. They are what allow you to stand up, walk, climb stairs, and maintain your balance. And when that strength begins to decrease, everything starts to become more difficult. But here's something few people know: you don't need a gym. You don't need expensive equipment. You just need the right movement. One of the most powerful exercises for this is the simple act of sitting down and standing up from a chair. It may seem basic, but it is extremely effective. And do you know why? Because it replicates exactly a movement you perform every single day. And when you improve this movement, you improve your life. Now pay attention to this: when you stand up from a chair, you're not just using your legs. You're training your body to respond better, to stabilize itself, and to generate strength in a coordinated way. And this drastically reduces the risk of falls. Start slowly. Sit in a firm chair. Stand up without using your hands, and then sit down again in a controlled way. Repeat this a few times, respecting your own pace. Over time, you'll notice it becomes easier and more natural. And that's when many people begin to regain something that seemed lost, confidence. Because it's not just about strength, it's about safety. Now tell me honestly, have you ever stopped doing something because you were afraid of falling? Maybe walking faster. Maybe going out alone. Maybe stepping up without support. This fear starts small, but it grows over time. And the problem isn't the fear itself, it's what it does to you. It limits your choices, reduces your activity, and accelerates the loss of strength even more. It's a dangerous cycle. But it's a cycle that can be broken. And you are exactly at the point where you can break it. Because from here on, every small action you take starts working in your favor. And the next step involves something many people ignore: lateral balance. Most falls don't happen forward, they happen to the side. And this requires a specific type of control that few people train. A simple but extremely effective exercise is standing on one leg. Just that. But with attention and control. Hold onto a wall or a chair if needed. Lift one foot off the ground and try to maintain your balance for a few seconds. Then switch sides. This exercise activates stabilizing muscles that are essential for preventing falls. And over time, you'll notice that you can stay balanced longer, with more stability and more confidence. Now stop and think, can something this simple really make a difference? The answer is yes. It can change everything. Because it's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Small actions, repeated every day, create big changes. And your body responds to this faster than you might expect. And as you continue in this process, something begins to happen inside you. You start to feel that you still have control, that you can still improve, and that you can still get better. And that completely changes your mindset. Because the biggest problem was never just the body. It was believing that there was nothing left to be done. But there is. There always is. And you are starting now. Now let me ask you a direct question. And I want you to answer it honestly, just to yourself. When was the last time you truly trusted your body? I'm not talking about walking inside your house or doing simple movements. I'm talking about moving without fear, without hesitation, without that feeling of insecurity before taking a firmer step. Because the truth is, this feeling doesn't appear all at once. It starts small. Almost imperceptible. And it grows over time. First, you begin to avoid walking faster. Then you start holding onto furniture without realizing it. Next, you avoid climbing stairs without support. And before you know it, you're avoiding simple everyday situations. And the most dangerous part of all this is that it feels normal. It seems like just another consequence of aging. But it's not. This is loss of capacity. And more than that, it's loss of confidence. And there's something you need to understand right now. Your body was made to adapt. It responds exactly to what you do with it every day. If you move little, it understands that it doesn't need to maintain strength. If you avoid effort, it understands that it can conserve energy. And the result is simple: weakness, instability, and loss of balance. Now think with me. If your body became weaker because you stopped stimulating it, what happens when you start stimulating it again? It responds. And it responds faster than you think. But there's an important detail that almost no one talks about. Not just any movement produces results. There is a right way to stimulate the body, especially after the age of 60. And this is where many people go wrong. They think they need to do a lot. That they need to get exhausted. That they need to suffer. And they end up giving up. But the truth is different. You need to do the right movement, the right way, with consistency. Now pay attention to this. There is a type of strength that is more important than any other at this stage of life. It's not maximum strength. It's not lifting heavy weights. It's control strength, the ability of your body to stabilize, react, and adjust quickly. And that is exactly what prevents falls. And that's what we're going to start developing now. One of the most powerful exercises for this is single leg support, standing on one foot. But now you're going to do it with intention. Not just standing still, but truly feeling your body working. Lift one foot off the ground. Keep the other firmly planted. Lightly engage your core. Look at a fixed point. And try to maintain your balance. You'll notice something interesting. At first, your body shakes. Your muscles work. Your balance feels unstable. But that's not weakness. That's activation. That's your body waking up. And every second you stay in that position, your nervous system is learning. It's becoming faster. More efficient. More prepared. Now imagine this in your daily life. When you trip. When you misstep. When you need to adjust quickly. This is exactly the ability that prevents a fall. And that's why this exercise is so powerful. Now let's take it a step further. Another extremely important movement is controlled lateral shifting. Because most falls don't happen forward, they happen to the side. And almost no one trains this. Stand up. Take a slow step to the side. Shift your body weight with control. Then return. Simple as that. But do it with attention. Feel the weight moving from one leg to the other. Feel your muscles working to stabilize your body. This develops a type of strength that protects you in real-life situations. Now tell me, how many times have you trained this kind of movement in your life? Probably none. And that's exactly why it makes such a difference. Because it prepares your body for real situations, not just exercises. Now there's something even more important I need to tell you. And maybe no one has ever explained it to you this way. The biggest risk is not weakness. The biggest risk is a false sense of security. It's thinking everything is fine until something happens. A slip. A trip. A loss of balance. And then it may be too late. But you're doing something different. You're getting ahead of it. You're preparing your body before it happens. And that changes everything. Over the years, this connection begins to slow down. The brain sends the command, but the body takes a little longer to respond. And that small delay is enough to turn a simple imbalance into a fall. Now tell me honestly, have you ever felt like it took you a little longer to react in a situation? Maybe when you slightly slipped or briefly lost your balance. That's the sign. And ignoring it is what puts most people at risk. But here's the good news. This can be trained. And more than that, it can be improved even after 60, 70, or even 80 years of age. The body remains adaptable. The brain continues to learn. And that's exactly what you're going to start stimulating now. There is a type of training that almost no one does, but that is one of the most important for your safety, reaction training. And it's much simpler than it seems. One example is the quick touch. Stand up in a comfortable position. Now imagine a point in front of you. It could be a table, a wall, or even the back of a chair. Touch that point with your hand and quickly return to the starting position. Do this a few times, slightly increasing the speed. It may seem too simple, but it isn't. Because you are teaching your body to react faster. You are creating more efficient connections between the brain and muscles. And in the real world, this can be the difference between falling or recovering in time. Now let's take it a step further. Another extremely powerful exercise is the recovery step. Stand relaxed. Now gently push yourself slightly forward or to the side, and take a quick step to regain your balance. This movement trains exactly what happens in a risky situation. It teaches your body to act without thinking, to respond automatically. And the more you train this, the faster and more efficient your body becomes. Now stop and think, how many times have you trained this in your life? Probably never. And that's exactly why so many people fall, not because they are weak, but because they are not prepared to react. Now there is another extremely important point you need to understand. The body doesn't just lose strength and speed, it also loses perception. That's right. The perception of your body in space, something called proprioception. It's what allows you to know where your foot is without looking. It's what allows you to walk in the dark without falling. And when that perception decreases, the risk increases. But again, this can be trained. A simple exercise is to slightly close your eyes while maintaining your balance standing up, always with support nearby for safety. This forces your body to rely more on internal sensors. And over time, this perception improves. Now imagine the impact of this in your daily life. Walking in low-light environments. Walking on uneven ground. Stepping up without directly looking. All of this becomes safer when your proprioception is well trained. Now there is a point that almost no one notices, but that can be the turning point between maintaining your independence or gradually starting to lose it. It's not just about strength, and it's not just about balance. It's about how your body handles fatigue. Yes, tiredness. Because many falls don't happen when a person is well rested. They happen when the body is already tired, when the muscles no longer respond with the same efficiency, when attention decreases, and when control begins to fail. And this happens every day without you noticing. Think about it. At the beginning of the day, you feel more stable and more secure. But as the hours go by, your body becomes heavier, your movements slower, and your stability starts to decrease. Now imagine that combined with a small loss of balance. That's exactly when the risk increases. And that's why you need to train your body not just to be strong, but to maintain that strength even when you're tired. And there is a simple and extremely effective way to do this: isometric exercises. Maybe you've heard that term, maybe not. But the concept is simple. Instead of constantly moving, you hold a position and support your own body weight for a few seconds. This creates a very specific type of strength, endurance strength, which is exactly what you need in everyday life. A simple example is the half squat position. Stand up, slightly bend your knees as if you were going to sit, but stop halfway and hold that position. At first, it may seem easy. But after a few seconds, you'll start to feel your muscles working. And that's exactly what we want. This type of exercise teaches your body to sustain effort and maintain stability even under fatigue. And that has a direct impact on your safety. Now think about a real situation. You're walking, already a bit tired, maybe at the end of the day. Suddenly, you misstep. If your body isn't prepared to sustain and react even when tired, the risk of falling increases a lot. But if you've trained this ability, your body responds. It stabilizes. It recovers. And that can prevent an accident. Now let's go a bit further. Another extremely powerful exercise is the wall plank. Stand facing a wall, place your hands on it, and lean your body slightly forward. Hold that position for a few seconds, engaging your core and keeping your body aligned. This strengthens not only your arms but also your core, which is essential for balance. Because here's something many people don't understand: balance doesn't come only from your legs. It comes from your entire body working together. If your core isn't strong, if your trunk isn't stable, your body loses efficiency, and that increases the risk of falls. Now there's an important detail you need to understand. It's not about doing the maximum you can. It's about doing it in a controlled way, with quality and awareness. Because that's what truly creates results. Now let's take another important step. There is a type of movement that is essential for maintaining independence, but that most people begin to avoid over time: getting up from the floor. Yes, something as simple as that. Because falling isn't the only problem. The real problem is not being able to get back up afterward. And this happens more often than you might think. But this can be trained. Start safely. Use support, like a chair or a couch. Slowly lower yourself to the floor with control, and then come back up using support. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be fast. It needs to be intentional. Because this movement works strength, mobility, and coordination all at once. And more importantly, it restores something many people lose: autonomy in unexpected situations. Now imagine the impact of that. Knowing that even in a difficult situation, you can handle it. That completely changes how you feel. Now there's another extremely important point you need to understand. The environment you live in also influences your risk. Many falls happen at home: loose rugs, slippery floors, lack of support in key spots. Small adjustments can make a big difference. But even with a safe environment, the main factor is still your body. You can't control everything around you, but you can control how your body responds. If you strengthen your body, improve your balance, increase your reaction speed, and train your endurance, what happens? You drastically reduce risk. You gain more freedom. You live with more peace of mind. Every movement you make today is an investment in your future. Every exercise, every effort, every decision to move is building the body you will have in the years ahead. That puts you in control. Do you want to depend on luck or on your preparation? Most people just hope nothing happens. You are preparing. That changes the game. Here's something crucial: don't wait until you miss your capacity to start taking care of it. By the time you miss it, you've already lost part of it. Start while you still have it. The earlier you act, the faster you improve and the longer you preserve your independence. The hardest part isn't starting. The hardest part is continuing when no one is watching, when results aren't immediate. The body changes gradually, but the mind wants quick wins. Don't focus on the final result. Focus on not breaking the streak. When you keep the streak, results become inevitable. One day you do it. The next day you do it again. By the third day, you keep going, and soon you've built a pattern. You don't need to feel motivated to act. You need to act to generate motivation. Action comes before motivation, always. On days you don't feel like it, doing it anyway breaks resistance and proves you're in control. That builds discipline. Keep it simple. The simpler it is, the easier it is to maintain. Choose a few movements. Repeat them daily. Create a ritual. Consistent small effort beats occasional intensity. The body responds quickly to the right stimulus. In a few days, you feel a difference. In a few weeks, you see clear changes. That creates real motivation. Don't wait to feel ready to start. You'll never feel completely ready. Start as you are, with what you have, at your own pace. If you keep going for another week, what happens? Another month? 3 months? You won't be the same person. Your body won't be the same. Your confidence won't be the same. Imagine moving safely, standing up easily, walking with stability, without fear. Imagine the feeling of control, autonomy, and freedom. That's not a distant dream. It's the direct result of the actions you're starting now. Is it worth a few minutes a day to achieve that? That's the trade: small daily effort for a much higher quality of life. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. There will be better days and harder days, and that's okay. What matters is not stopping. Every day you continue, you get stronger. The decision is clear: continue or stop. Progress or regress. And you've already shown which path you're choosing.